It's time now for Perspective. This year the world marks the 40th anniversary of Iran's 1979 revolution, a series of events that saw the removal of the US-backed Shah and the arrival of an Islamic Republic. My guest today is celebrated Franco-Iranian photojournalist and humanitarian activist Reza, whose photographs from that time gave the outside world a window onto the revolution and what he's described as the broken promises of its aftermath. Thank you very much indeed for speaking to us here on France 24. Now, we will get to your book very shortly, but first I'd like to talk about what's currently happening in Iran. Some saying that the popular unrest we've seen in recent days is similar to 1979. What do you make of it all?
Well, I mean, what's happening now today, it's absolutely terrible for the Iranian people because it has been a cut off of the internet for more than 6 days now. And it reminded me the days that have happened at the revolution. I mean, what's happening in Iran now, it's a real pre-revolution attitude in the people, and the government, they know about it. It is not about the oil or price of the gas or going, it's because people, they have enough of this government, of the mafiosi government, of the criminal that holding this whole people and the whole world and Middle East hostage for them. What's happening in Iraq, in Lebanon, in Yemen, even all around Iran, it's showing that this is the end of this empire. But the Iranian people living really in a dark, dark situation, actually.
And do you think those levels of anger, of frustration, are comparable to the levels of anger and frustration in 1979?
I think it's much more now, what I see here, because what was happened in the past 40 years has created a nation of the total frustrations. And this frustration over 40 years that lost everything. People have nothing now left for them, while they see all these ayatollahs and their families living in lavish lives and their corruption of the billions of dollars, and people, almost more than 10 million Iranians living under the level of the poverty, while the government and the ayatollahs, they have the billions of dollars. So that's why what's happening now in Iran, it's really, this is the real revolution.
And there is a huge information blackout at the moment in Iran, as you just mentioned. Are you in touch with anyone in the country at the moment?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm always in touch with the people or getting information through other friends which they are in touch. And what the government doing now, it's just inhuman. They don't even give many of the bodies of the people that we have been more than 200 people died, and they don't give the bodies to the families. Or they ask them, what, 40 million tuman, which is a lot of money, and they have to just bury at the night times because they don't want the day buried. It's a really criminal situation against Iranian people now.
And do you think there's enough anger that we may be seeing a regime change, a revolution again in the coming months, years? Is that something you feel is a possibility?
Definitely.
Okay, so we can go on now to your book. Along with your brother, you've released your latest book of photographs entitled Iran, Rêve et Dérive. In English, I think that is translated as something along the lines of dreams and broken promises, maybe.
Definitely.
It's a selection of your photographs from that time. Why did you want to publish this book? What did you want to achieve with it?
What happened in the Middle East and Iran in the past 40 years, it was because of arriving of the Khomeini and Islamic Republic of Iran. What's happened in the after Iran, which is Al-Qaeda, which is Daesh, which is all the things happening in this whole region from Afghanistan to the whole Middle East, it's because of the Iran Islamic Republic, which is not even a republic. It is the first Islamic state in the world. What those mullahs has done to Iran, it's 100 times worse even than what the Daesh doing now. I have been in Iraqi Kurdistan past 5 years, and I have seen what the Daesh doing. And I always remember, well, the Iranian mullahs doing this for 40 years in Iran, and nobody pointing them out. So that's the reason we thought that it's very important in this historical moment, 40 years after, to let the people know what is meaning to having religion people in the power? What is meaning to let those religious people to get the power and grab the power and stay in the power? We saw the situation in Iraq, in Lebanon, the people which they are demonstrating now in all the streets of those countries around Iran, they are all chanting against mullahs, against Iran Islamic Republic intervention in their countries too. So that's why I believe that it's a real start, the beginning of the end of not only Islamic Republic, but all kind of the government that use religion to stay in the power.
And going back to 1979, what were your hopes for the revolution? You were imprisoned, tortured under the Shah. What did you hope the revolution would achieve?
Freedom. This is the main things that all humans need. Doesn't matter. It is not the food, it is not the comfort. The freedom is the essence that every human needs. We are really, that's the bottom line of everything. And we were hoping for a freedom. We were hoping for a freedom of speech. We were hoping that we will get a better and more just distribution of the wealth in Iran. And that's why everybody was on the street. That's why we also see how France protected Khomeini and brought in Iran. And we said, okay, if all these countries, they think that Khomeini will be good for Iran. And the other thing was that the Khomeini was totally a liar. He was sitting here in Paris and sending messages that I will bring freedom to Iran, that the water, electricity, oil, gas, everything will be free for the Iranian. They will not have to buy houses. I will give the house to everybody. And this was all the lie and the lie and lie.
And what, if you had one, what would be your message to the Iranian youth of today? Your revolution did not work out as you wanted it to do. Would you encourage young people in Iran today to follow a similar course of action?
I think that there is no way of going back. Yes, we know that we may go again in trouble. That's may happen, but we will be better off if we can get rid of all these religious people that hang in the government, because Iran has the history of the thousands of the years of all kind of the government and the culture. It's a very, very rich cultural country, the people. So this is the end of what we have seen over past 100 years, few hundred years of mullahs, of Islamics, of the Shia group being in the power. And I think that whatever happened, we will get rid of the religious people in any way.
Reza, photojournalist, activist, thank you so much for coming on to speak to us here at France 24.
Thank you for having me here.
Our pleasure.
My pleasure.